Who would you rather Auburn have as their next quarterback? Casey Thompson or Payton Thorne?
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining us as he does every Tuesday for a little Charlie Tuesday action. Auburn message board legend, Charlie 5. And since we last spoke, really a lot of smoke coming from two different quarterback camps. Casey Thompson, the former Nebraska and Texas quarterback, and of course, Payton Thorne, who entered the portal on Sunday, who was the starter for 2 seasons at Michigan State. Where are you in all of this? Do you think one is significantly a better option than the other if Auburn were to have their pick with these two quarterbacks?
So for next year, I don't think there's a ton of difference between the two. I like both guys for different reasons, but I do feel like I like the idea of Thorne possibly being able to play for 2 years, have 2 years to work under Hugh when the playoffs start, when it moves to a bigger playoff format, and you've had 2 years to sort of build chemistry with the team, learn the playbook. So that's one of the reasons I like the size of Payton a little bit more. But if you look at their stats, a lot of the stats are very, 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 very similar. So they both played on some really bad. Yeah, they both played on bad teams, and Payton Thorne had a really, really good year 2 years ago. So there's pros and cons to both. But as far as next year goes, I don't see a lot of plus or minus for both.
Yeah,
but if you got to pick, I like the long game.
The 2 years. Yeah, and I like the 2 year thing that Payton Thorne offers. And I said 1 year for both of them yesterday. I was incorrect. Thank you to all of you who corrected me on that. But if Payton were to be at Auburn for 2 years as a starter, all of a sudden, so 23, Payton Thorne, 24, Payton Thorne, while Walker is a true freshman and Hank Brown's probably a redshirt freshman. And then he goes, and in 25, you have a really solid quarterback battle between Walker White and Hank Brown, who have both been in the offense for multiple seasons. Like, that is an incredible situation where Auburn all of a sudden doesn't have to worry about, like, oh my gosh, are we going to have a talented quarterback for the next 4 seasons? If that were the case, that'd be incredible.
I can't remember the last time that's been a thing. So yeah, I'm with you 1,000%. But it's I think we just got to let it happen. Like just let it play out, let it happen. Clearly, these two are the guy. I mean, it's pretty. We've watched a bunch of quarterbacks come and go. Okay, we've watched a bunch of quarterbacks come and go. There's been a lot of smoke here or there for those. Hugh has been remarkably picky, like in a time where it does not seem like he's really has the leverage to be picky. But as this whole thing's played out, it's made a whole lot of, it's starting to make a lot more sense as to, why it's played out the way it is. And I think us as fans, we want it now. We want to see it. We want to touch it. We want to feel it. We want to love it. We want to experience it.
We want to drink it with a straw.
Have to chill. Just have to wait. We just let it happen.
Now. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. You're right. But and Justin Hokanson with On3 I think he did a really solid write-up yesterday talking about what you just said in regards to Hugh Freeze has had the opportunity to settle essentially and get a quarterback that maybe beats out Robby, but I mean, it'd still be a quarterback competition in the fall. But all of a sudden now you've got two guys that seem to be interested in Auburn, that seem to be, Auburn is the favorite if they want them. If Auburn extends an official offer, I think right now Casey Thompson would take it. And I also think Payton Thorne would take it. And we'll see when a Payton Thorne visit is scheduled officially. I think that'll be telling. But both of them will immediately become the favorite to start. And I think both
Right.
of them make Auburn's offense better in 2023 and Thorne even in 2024. So I love it. There's really a whole lot to like about this. And I think it's telling that the way Coach Freeze is navigating all of this is somebody that's kind of got a little bit of a feel of what's going on with this new era of college football. And I don't know if we really had that before.
No, exactly. He seems like he's had a plan this whole time, and it's not been visible to us. So it sort of seems like we're running out of options. We're not doing anything, but he's clearly when people go to the portal and they don't contact, and it doesn't have us listed as someone who's contacting them, we kind of freak out. What are we doing? What are we doing? But then you'll see people like these linebackers and jacks that go in and then are immediately coming to visit. So like we're already sort of like, I don't know if it's the scouting or what, where we're like ready for it to happen before it happens, and we're on it. It's taking so long in a time where we kind of feel like we're panicking. We're kind of feel we feel like we got to have a quarterback. We're kind of panicking. We want something to just happen, but he's not. Hugh, I know that's his demeanor, but he's playing golf. He's fine. He knows what's going on. He knows what's in front of him. And I think we're just a few days away. Yeah. And then the dominoes will really start to fall, because then your receivers action is going to start, because they're definitely waiting to see what happens. They're definitely waiting to see who comes, because, they just they would feel more confident with one of these guys as a quarterback. And then what happens after that? Like, it's just going to be, we keep talking about dominoes, but
Charlie Fives, I know you listened to yesterday's show, and the everydayers have heard me talk about this. I think it's really important to get on campus before summer semester starts. And you still got, like you said, you've got time before you're able to do that. You still have a few weeks, I believe. And I haven't seen anybody put that official date out there yet. I don't know if that's like known. It may vary depending on your academic situation. But I think it's important, especially for the quarterback, to be here for as much of summer as he possibly can, for relationships, to have access to facilities, to work with strength and conditioning, to get the playbook in your hands. Am I overplaying that? Or do you think there's not that big of a difference if somebody were to get here in July versus June?
No, I think it matters. Classes begin on the 17th of May. So That's when like the first little deal works. I'm sure there's like some mini semesters and things like that, but you definitely don't want to be here much later than June 1st. I wouldn't think. I think that I think it's important to go ahead and get here. You can be throwing with receivers. You can be working out. You can be learning the playbook. It's just that much longer. I'm with you. I don't think you. I know that we had success with that with Nick Marshall. I think Nick Marshall came super late in the summer one time, and it worked out. But I still think it's super ideal, and I think that's what we want is to go ahead and have somebody in, for this first, like right when classes kick off, May 17th, or before June. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. So did someone commit the other night, or are we all just kind of seeing things? Let's discuss that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. You can make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs, because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. It's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. There's no better place to bet all the NBA playoff action than America's number one sports book. Not the number two sports book, the number one sports book. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get a no-sweat first bet. That is FanDuel.com/LockedOn. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA and the Locked On Podcast Network. Charlie Five, the other night, 2 nights ago, I guess it would have been Sunday night, pretty much the whole defensive staff for Auburn tweeted out their bat signal. And it's like, okay, who is it? Who committed? And then like we never heard anything today. And so we all kind of assume we all kind of assumed it was the App State kid, the App State Jack, and
Right.
he left like without taking interviews, and so now all of a sudden we're all assuming the worst.
Yeah, I think we still got a little Mary Flipmas PTSD to us from the Harsin days, where they tweeted out the Mary Flipmas, and then it never actually happened. The big one that they trumpeted up, pumped up. So and now you get it, and you're over 24 hours from them all tweeting that, and then you don't have anything. And then today, which we're recording on Monday, Auburn basketball kind of did something similar, where they tweeted something that kind of is signifying a commitment, and we got nothing. We got nothing yet. So it's I don't know. I mean, I feel fine, because I don't think they would just do that for nothing, but it's like when you see that, normally something follows pretty shortly thereafter. So I don't know, man. I'm sure it's any minute now that it could be coming. It could be coming while we're recording this, but yeah, it's just the timing is a little off.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm blanking on the kid's name. Do you remember his name? I'm just blanking on
from App State.
Yeah,
it's McLeod is his last name.
McLeod. That's right. Yeah. So everybody kind of assumed it was him.
McLeod.
Yeah, there we go. Jalen McLeod. Yeah. And so everybody was just kind of assuming it was him, and then nothing happened. So
he took,
I don't know. Is there a strategy for Hugh thinks everything out, right? So is there any strategy for him being like, hold on, we're glad you're here. We're super excited. Can't wait to announce it, but it's best for the program if you wait till blank date. Do you think there's anything to that?
Honestly, I'm trying to see all angles, and it's hard for me. I don't know if it's like the kids, if they're having graphics done, if they're doing videos. I don't really know. I don't really know what it could be. But all I know is at that point in time, somebody told the coaches they were coming. You know what I mean? Somebody told our defensive coordinator he was coming, and then the defensive line coach right after that popped off, and then the linebacker coach popped off after that. So somebody said something. Now, why?
Yeah, the order in which it happened, where it was like Garrett and Aldridge, just like, oh, it's a Jack.
Yeah, it was.
But
clear.
it may not mean anything. It may not mean anything at all.
Yeah, it was pretty clear that it seemed like that was what it was going to be. But I don't know. I don't necessarily think. I don't think it really means anything positive or negative. It's just whatever the chain of events are. It's just not ready to be out yet. And I don't know. I don't know if there's necessarily a strategy behind that. I don't know if it's like, hey, we're glad you're here. Do what you got to do. We'll tweet it out whenever you let us, or just tell us when you want it to go out, and we'll go out. I don't know. He's not going in other visits, I don't believe. So so far, so that would be the first indicator of a problem, is if he's starting to go on other visits. So I don't know. It's weird, but I don't necessarily think there's the basketball thing is what's even weirder to me, because we've been talking about everybody's been kind of thinking Tyron Lawrence was the guy that he went in the portal, then he came to visit.
Yep.
He's not visited anywhere else. Not said he was going to visit anywhere else. Everybody's assumed he was committed. Jamie Shaw put in a crystal ball for him. And then Auburn basketball does that thing that, on Monday, where they tweet out the thing where it's kind of signifying a commitment. You think it's him, and there's still nothing. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird.
It's a little odd. Maybe the whole staff it was Sunday night and they were excited to get to work on Monday. I don't know. No, bad joke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it can't. You can't do that. They had to have been educated over Mary Flipmas. Like somebody educated them over how bad the social media team was.
So you go to them like, so this thing happened. This thing happened last December, and it wasn't fun for anyone. They did do the NFL draft thing, and that was really cool. But other than that, it was really, really bad. So, other transfer portal guys that were on campus this weekend that stood out to you that you would like to have at Auburn this season?
Play at Auburn. Yeah. So Isaac Ukwu is an absolute monster. He would be my number one target at Jack. I mean, I think he's a
Jack from Old Dominion.
Was it James Madison? James Madison. Yeah. He's had
there's one from Old Dominion, I think, that we like too.
Almost 20 sacks in 2 years. He's going to be an NFL prospect. He can kind of shop wherever he wants to go. I think he can pretty much pick wherever he wants to go. So that one I really like. I'm not sure if he actually visited, but I know he offered the linebacker from North Texas. Yeah. He had over 100 tackles last year, and he had a very good tackle to assisted tackle ratio. It was right there at 1-to-1. And for a middle linebacker, that's big because there's a lot of piles for a middle linebacker.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Especially in North Texas.
Chances for an assisted tackle. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of chances for an assisted tackle, and he had almost perfect 50-50 solo to assisted tackle. I think that's huge. And that's big for me. I like the
Charlie 5 scale. I'm having to piece together what you're saying because your internet is terrible tonight. It's okay.
Not working. Sorry.
It's all right. No, it's cool.
Doing my best.
I think we got. Hopefully, it comes together when we in editing. The receiver front. How do we feel about that? Because that's really like I feel really good about quarterback now. If it's either of those two guys, I think you're better on offense. The receiver situation still seems pretty like dire to me because Montana Lamonius Craig, you're seeing more and more stuff about him going to Cal. It's like, what does that look like? And then Burton, the former Ohio State kid, I read his like write up with him talking to Jeffrey Lee at auburnlive.com. And it's like, I don't know. I just didn't really think he had like great things to say. He's like, yeah, it was a great visit, but like, it's like, it was a lot cooler than I was expecting it to be. It's like, what does that mean? Like, that doesn't really just sound like somebody that's like gushing and, excited to get here. And he said he was going to take a lot of other visits and stuff. So I don't really know where the answer is at wide receiver right now.
Yeah. And I don't think we're going to know until we have a quarterback. I just don't think you have a ton that you can sell a wide receiver right now that's looking to play. Looking to make an impact right now. And I keep talking about dominoes. I think once the quarterback's solid, that's when the other stuff will start picking up. But it's just what can you sell a transfer wide receiver that's wanting to come in and compete right away, other than you got playing time. We don't know who's going to throw it to you and how often they're going to be able to get it to you accurately. Like, I mean, it's not really something you can sell positively right now. So, maybe if we get Payton Thorne, you got a backdoor chance of his guy, the all-American freshman, Keon, what's his last name?
I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to get him, but he's been like linked to Oklahoma. Yeah. Coleman. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Auburn offered former BYU receiver Cody Epps as well. He entered the portal on Sunday, and Auburn offered him, according to reports yesterday. So take that for what it's worth. The roster turnover has been interesting. Guys keep leaving, but no one's coming in, Charlie 5. We'll discuss that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. I want to encourage you to join the Locked On Auburn Discord. It is free. All you have to do is click the link in the episode description down below, or if you're listening on audio, it is in the show notes. It's fun. It's always fun. We're always there. So, Charlie 5, all these folks are leaving. Did any of them concern you? Jeffrey Embaugh is in the 2 deep. Outside of that, anything move the needle at all for you?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Landen King is the practice like legend that you always hear about, or the guy that you always thought he had a higher ceiling and could explode at any moment. But like y'all talked about, he did what he was asked to do, lost some weight, still didn't have the quick twitch to be an outside receiver. And now he's just kind of a super in-betweener instead of before he was just like a regular tweener. Now he's super in-betweener. I hate it. I hate it because he seems like he loved Auburn and he did what he was asked to do, but it's just not going to work out. I really nobody. Embo was kind of a surprise because I thought he could play, but he's kind of all over the place. He's kind of all over the place, and he seems like
the more I learned
bad.
about that situation, I think Embo got some bad advice, which is a shame.
Terrible. Clearly bad advice. Clearly bad advice.
Yeah.
When you go in and your top 3 offers, you think you're going to get all over the country, and your top 3 offers are what? Florida International, Purdue, and who else? I mean, he left on his own volition. This was not a processing. That was not a processing deal. That was he thought he could do better, and I hope he does well at Purdue.
Yeah, there's parts of that, and I'll discuss this more from a depth chart point of view after we kind of get a better picture of what the roster is. But I've got a take on that where I think they're going to play Keldrick there some at defensive end, and I think Keldrick Faulk's going to be the backup strong side D end and the backup jack in a lot of game plans. So long term, that may be better for Keldrick's development. It's going to get Keldrick on the field a lot more, Keldrick Faulk. But you still need that depth. And, Messiah, Vasily Kite, I think he's going to be huge because he's probably the winner in all of this with Jeffrey Emba leaving. But outside, he's really the only one. And I noticed you didn't mention Dylan Brooks, but the opinion on Dylan Brooks appears to be kind of split.
I hate it, but I just clear. He's been here long enough, and it just hasn't. I hate it that he left. It's just he's been here that long, and there's literally no anything written hardly ever about him. So,
well, when he entered, I was like, okay, we've got 2 jacks currently on campus. That's got to be a good sign. And then, when the stuff went up Sunday night, it's like, sweet, here we go. And it just hadn't happened yet. But that's another reason where I'm like, I feel like this is fine. I feel like this is okay.
It's coming.
Yeah, these kids are smart. They know what's going on. Charlie 5. How can people find you, hear you, love you, experience you, all of these things?
I know it probably sounds like I'm in the wilderness somewhere, but I'm promise you I'm not. You can find me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5, in the Locked On Auburn Discord, auburnlive.com, the corner message board, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the Dad Bod Golf Pod.
And if somebody wants to give you any internet advice on how to connect to the internet,
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
Hit you up on the Discord. Is that the move there? You think?
Mail me, send me a letter in the mail. I guess
that may be better.
I cannot receive with this signal, but send me Morse code, something.
No, please drag Charlie 5 in the Discord. That'll be hilarious. Follow me on socials at Zac Blackerby. I've been watching. I'm doing a rewatch of Lost right now. I feel like you're on the island doing the show from a Dharma Initiative computer. That joke hit 3 people. Follow me on Twitter at social media on socials at Zac Blackerby. And you can find all my written work at auburndaily.com. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.